So you want to know how you can get all 9s in your GCSEs? Well, listen up. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Izzy, a med student at UCL, currently taking a gap year. I sat my GCSEs 3 years ago, and in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get your grades from this to this. So the first tip that I would give you if you want to succeed in your GCSEs is come up with a revision timetable that you stick to every single day. So for every day after school, I want you to plan out exactly what subjects you're going to revise, for how long, what topics you're going to do, etc, etc. I want you to do this for every single day, every weekend, every holiday, but especially come up with a properly tailored one for just before any mocks that you have or any exams that you have, because this is going to allow you to practice the technique and the skill required to come up with a really good timetable that will allow you to succeed. GCSEs is all about managing your time and balancing the time that you spend revising each subject. It's not like A-levels in the sense that you have to learn a whole range of subjects. You can't choose what subjects you're doing at GCSEs. So come up with a revision timetable that works for you. At the beginning, I would recommend spending more time on the subjects that you're weaker at. Let's say you're worse at sciences, schedule in more hours for biology, chemistry, or maths. I'm not saying neglect your other subjects, because definitely do not do this. Just have the ratio be higher of the weaker subjects and then lower of subjects that you're stronger at. Tackle your weaknesses when they begin, and by the time you get to the end of the course, just before your GCSEs, you can have a more balanced timetable and spread out your time more evenly between all of the subjects. Obviously, spend more time revising each subject just before you have that exam. So my second tip, specifically for sciences, that I mentioned in my academic weapon video that's linked down below, is read your revision guides or your notes out loud and explain it to yourself as you go along. So what I mean by this is, say you have the CGP science guide that I used to use a lot for all of my science subjects. Get a section of the guide or get the notes that you've written on those pages and read them out loud and explain it to yourself as you're reading it in your own words, because this will allow it to stay in your head. Okay, so say I'm reading about topic 2, cells in control for edit cell biology, and I go to the page on mitosis. Chromosomes contain genetic information. Most cells in your body have a nucleus. The nucleus contains your genetic material in the form of chromosomes. Chromosomes are coiled up lengths of DNA molecules. So then I would kind of explain it to myself in my own words. So I'd say, DNA molecules coil themselves up and wrap themselves up into chromosomes. Chromosomes contains your genetic material. So chromosomes is how your genetic material is stored in the nucleus. So I'd explain it to myself something like that, in any way that helps it to stay in my head. Sometimes I would sing my notes out. I would come up with acronyms, whatever helps me remember what I've just said. Once you say it in your own words and you say it out loud, I promise you it will stay in your head. So trust me on that. Read your guides, read your notes out loud, and explain it to yourself in your own words as you go along. If you're trying to learn poetry or learn specific quotes, things like that, reading it out loud will help it stay in your head as well. I just remember it making the biggest difference for my science subjects. So specifically for sciences, do this, I promise it works. So my third point that links to my second point is, once you've read your guides or your notes out loud, for every single subject, make mind maps of the key points that were in your revision guide. So I don't want you to write extensive pages of notes. I just want you to bullet point on an A4 sheet of paper the key pieces of information that were in that guide or on that YouTube video or whatever source of revision you're using. Bullet point it so that just before your exams, you can read over those mind maps out loud, and that will refresh your memory, and I promise it will activate your short-term memory, and that information will stay in your head for the exam. This saved me in my GCSEs because there's so many different subjects that you have to get through. Like I said, GCSEs is about time management and about being able to balance, the 10 subjects or whatever it is that you do at GCSE, which is a very niche skill, and it's something that takes a lot of practice. So just record the key points of information so that you don't have to go back and read the entire page of that guide or watch the whole YouTube video again, because you don't have time for that. You just have to remember the key points of information and read these out loud, because it will allow it to stay in your head the night before the exam. My tip number 4 that I also mentioned in my academic weapon video that, like I said, is linked down below, change your mindset. So what I mean by this is, have goals in your head. No goal is too big, that you believe with all of your heart that you are going to achieve no matter what. There's different ways that you can get these goals into your head. One way that I would recommend is vision boards. So when I was doing my GCSEs, I had pasted all over my bedroom walls all of my subjects with 9s next to them so that I remembered what my goal was and what I wanted to achieve. Every single morning I would wake up, I would look at this, I would remember what my goals are, I would remember what I'm here to achieve, and I believed in all of my heart that I was going to get all 9s at my GCSEs. It paid off. Your mindset is literally everything. If you don't believe you can achieve all 9s, then forget it, you're not going to achieve it. But if you believe you can achieve it, I don't care what your grades are right now, if you believe in your heart that you're going to get all 9s at your GCSEs, you can get all 9s at your GCSEs. But the first step is changing your mindset. I also listened to subliminals every single time I was sitting down to revise, or before every single exam. I would listen to study subliminals, I would listen to high grade subliminals, I would listen to exam subliminals. This would change my mindset as well by subconsciously programming myself to believe that I am an all 9 student. I am a straight A-star student. If you believe you're a straight A-star student, you're going to start acting like one, and you're going to bring that to yourself. If you believe your whole life that you're like a CDD student, that's what you're going to attract. That is what you're going to bring to yourself. So you have to change your mindset if you want to succeed and if you want to get all 9s at your GCSEs. My final tip is to use a variety of revision resources when revising for all of your subjects. I would use YouTube videos. I found YouTube videos a really helpful way to get the content into my head and to actually understand these topics, especially when I was stuck. I would use YouTube videos for maths to teach me how to do a particular skill, to just explain a concept to myself that I didn't understand. I would learn the poems by watching YouTube videos or watch short stories on the plays that we were doing at school. GCSEs, I'd say the hardest thing is that you don't get to like choose all of your subjects. Like I always really struggled in English. I would listen to YouTube videos on the plays or the literature and an analysis of the books that we were reading, and it would just make everything so much clearer to me. It would change my perspective towards the subject. Another way I revised was by reading out notes out loud from, I don't know, PMT for science or like whatever the resource is, and recording myself reading it so that I could listen to it afterwards. I found out during my GCSEs that I'm someone who learns by listening as well. So I think this is why I found YouTube videos so helpful. But if I listen to myself reading my notes out, I find it helps it stay in my head. So try out a whole bunch of different revision techniques and a whole bunch of different resources during your GCSEs to see what works for you. And this will also make the biggest difference when it comes to say your A-levels, because you'll have some kind of idea of what works for you, what resources are good for you by the time it comes to actually having to learn and revise for hours and hours on end to do well in your A-levels. Okay guys, so I think that's all of the tips that I have for you today. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope that you employ these techniques to see how it can change your revision and your grades. I know all of you guys will do brilliantly. Good luck, just stick with it and you'll see yourself succeed. Go watch my academic weapon video if you haven't already. That teaches you some more niche techniques and how you can succeed at anything you put your mind to. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!